Here's a surprising fact you may not have heard. The exchange-traded funds industry, now worth $4 trillion, had its humble beginnings right here in Canada some 28 years ago. Now Canada is home to a lesser-known investment vehicle, platform-traded funds. They are actively managed funds that trade much like ETFs on the AEQUITAS Neo Exchange. The AEQUITAS Neo Exchange's NeoConnect. Launched last year, NeoConnect has more than $200 million in assets under management. Earlier, CEO Jos Schmidt explained the advantages of PTFs.
PTFs is typically a product or an instrument that you use for actively managed funds. So if you are looking at passively managed funds, I would go the ETF way. If you look at funds that are, for example, based on rule-based funds, I would use ETFs. But as soon as you get into true active management or funds that are based on very illiquid securities, where it is much more complex to provide a market, a continuous market and liquidity in that market, I think platform-traded funds become the great answer. And they give you access to actively managed funds at a lower cost, with a greater efficiency, and in a much more integrated way. So think about it from the perspective of the advisor, as I said, efficiency in the way that they operate. Easy to enter orders. They also get all their reporting integrated. Like today, if you do funds, it's a separate reporting for your clients than if you do ETFs. By leveraging the entire securities processing chain, we bring everything together in one integrated world. So very efficient for them.
And you just celebrated the first anniversary of NeoConnect. Right now, assets under management is at around $200 million. I'm wondering, what do you make of the pace of the buy-in to this? Are you surprised that there hasn't been more, considering how quickly and how popular ETFs have grown?
Well, I think if you look at ETFs, you have to go back to when the first ETFs were launched, and those were, if my memory serves me well, those were ETFs launched here in Toronto somewhere in what was it? Probably in the late 80s, early 90s, and it took quite a while before they became what they are today. So I think here it's a new product. It has benefits for the investor, for the advisor, for the fund manufacturer. We make access, as I said, to active managed funds available at a lower cost in a more efficient way, in an integrated way. So I think there's a learning curve. You have to make sure that people understand it. You have to make sure that they feel comfortable with it. You have to make sure that they fully understand it. And that is the exercise that we're doing now. When I look at it, and we are 1 year in operations, and we have exceeded 200 million of assets that we collected, I think that's a pretty good result. Can we do much more? Oh yeah, I think it's just a matter of time. I'm very optimistic about the way forward. We have more dealers joining the platform. We have more manufacturers looking at joining the platform.
And you have some more competition coming into the picture, which I want to ask you about, because the TMX is working on its NAVEX platform. So similar idea. It's not operational yet. Normally when we think of competition, that's not generally a good thing. But do you think that that might actually help you in terms of adding some extra credibility to the concept, something that people aren't familiar with yet?
Well, we are a big believer, as you can imagine, in competition, because we are all about competition, not only in this space, but in the listing space, in the trading space, in the market data space. So we are always in favor of competition. And I think that, when you look at their solution, I think they announced it for being live mid last year. I think they are still struggling with a number of things. I don't know exactly what, but I hope that they will join the market soon, and I think that if that helps to create more awareness around these products, it's a good thing for everyone.
So looking out, let's say 5 years from now, how much of a percentage of revenue do you see PTFs constituting compared to ETFs, say?
You mean revenue for us,
yes.
or do you mean what will they represent in the market?
For you.
I think from our perspective, I think that that entire platform, because we are the enabler with our platform, NeoConnect, which is a distribution platform. I think that can become a substantial component of our overall revenue. You know, it's always hard to see what else you do and what other products you come with. But I can see that represents somewhere between, you know, let's say 15 and 20% of our overall revenue, without any doubts. I think the other question maybe to ask is you know, what is the mutual fund world going to look like tomorrow? And I think that within 5 years, I see a world that, you know, is going to be largely based on the one side on ETFs, which are the right products, again, in my view, for passive investments, rules-based funds. You know, some people talk about active ETFs, but they're always active to a limited way. But once you move into true active management, I think that the world is going to be for platform-traded funds. That's really what I see. And then will you see some of the classic mutual funds as we have them today still there? I believe you will see them, but they will be very customized. They will be very specialized. But the products that will be the more commoditized type of products, in my eyes, are going to be the ETFs and the PTFs.
AEQUITAS Neo Exchange CEO Jos Schmidt. Up next, from brain drain to brain gain, Canada's